I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud.
Fake carrots. Fake fruit. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
Well, everyone, I couldn't help it. I just had to give you a lot of Biden to start this out. Oh, today is Thursday. Tonight, according to Uman, at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Is it 9? Yeah, 9, whatever the heck it is. Tonight on CNN and other channels, if they're going to simulcast it, it's going to be a CNN production of how to help Biden win the election. I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know if I can watch it live. I don't know if I can stay up that late. It's going to be interesting, though, folks. The media is going to do everything they can to bias it to Biden. They have not a 5-second delay, but I believe they have a 2-minute delay. You know what that means? That means as the show goes live, and I'm calling it a show because it's not a debate, it's a fucking show. As the show goes, they can pull out 4 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds here and there and slide everything up. So if Biden freezes, has some mispronunciations, if he decides he's going to crap his pants, you're right, they can pull that out. Anything he says that's stupid, right, they can do that. And then they can go to a commercial break and reset that. I'm going to call that right off the bat election interference. Cheating. You think they would do that for a second to help Trump? Now, folks, the media has a long history of influencing elections, going all the way back to the 1960 John F. Kennedy and Richard Milhouse Nixon debate, where Nixon was sitting under all of the hot studio lights and he started to sweat. Had a couple dribbles of sweat running down, kind of like old Rudy Giuliani when his shoe polish was coming out of his hair, right? So they focused on Nixon sweating and it hurt him in the polls. Was it enough to cause the election to go to John F. Kennedy? Well, a lot of people believe that was the mafia and the mob and Chicago voting. That's right, Chicago, right, was responsible for JFK winning over Nixon in 1960. Here we are, folks. Here we are, 2024, 64 years later. The media is again positioning themselves to screw over Trump and freedom and the country and me and you. In fact, folks, let's go with some more of this stuff. The White House press corps, which means the White House media suck-ups, they're going to have to watch the debate from the building across the street. And what they're being told is there could be a medical emergency involving one of the candidates, requiring on-scene coverage. That's just weird. There could be a medical emergency. Now, understand, the questions have not been given to Biden ahead of time. No, they were given to Biden's handlers. Right? The same thing happened with fat-ass Stacey Abrams back in 2016, who gave the questions to Hillary. I mean, you think Biden... Okay, Biden, he's got 50 years of experience on governing and leading the country. Then why did he need a week to prepare, there's going to be no live audience. They're doing everything they can so they can kill the feed. They can censor and edit. And you know what else they can remove? Well, apart from just hitting a button and silencing Trump, which they now have in place, so the moderator can, censor. Well, they also can silence Trump. His quips, his cracks, his jokes, his humor, his comebacks, his witticisms. The reason I think this is such an SHTF-worthy topic is because the country has, been crapped on by Biden. It has hit the fan. We've got it across all sectors of our economy, and we go over this all the time. Our country, the economy, finance, money, military, education, schools, parents, workers, infrastructure, terrorism, global politics, local politics, everywhere and everything in between, even intergalactic politics. So, is Biden going to blow up? Is he going to have a heart attack? Is he going to have a Jim Jones moment? Is he going to turn into a reptile? Right? Medical emergency. We're going to find out, folks. It is absolutely crazy. And like I said, I'm exhausted already. I've got 4.5 hours before we get there. I don't know if I can make it to watch this, but of course I'm going to have to. And if I don't watch it live, I'll probably wake up at 2 a.m. and watch it. In any event, get your questions down below. Do you want to talk about this? Do you think it matters? Do you actually think it matters? Right? Well, why this is important is they want Biden to stay in office. I do not. I know you don't either. But Biden's people, that's right, the people who have come across the border illegally, are continuing to be caught, and the news report all of their crimes. Biden's people are racists. No. Yes. But they're also rapists. No. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Everything negative. Criminal, drugs, prostitution, rape, murder. Right? Here's your next story. Ready? An illegal alien who was allowed to enter into our country through Biden's open border policy, the invitation to every scumbag on the planet. Hey, bring your scum here to America. There's lots of women who are naive and stupid, and you can go rape them. And there are lots of little girls who have no idea how dangerous you are because you're a bunch of freaks from other countries who think if you catch a girl, you're allowed to rape her. Come on to America, says Biden. Well, a Turkish illegal has been arrested. He kidnapped and raped a 15-year-old girl. Thanks, Biden. Biden's people, yay. I've had it with these people, folks. I've had it with them. I've had it with being nice. I've had it with them calling us rapists. Racists. I'm surprised they haven't called us rapists as well. Get this. MSNBC has that bald-headed bitch, Joy Reid. And she finds it, quote, deeply offensive that Trump is allowed to stand, quote, stand next to the actual president at a debate. Trump was an actual president. She finds it deeply offensive. I find Joy to be a racist and filthy human being. And she is, on top of everything else, inescapably stupid as well. I thought that was a good word, inescapably. Anyways, this is what we're dealing with, folks. People hell-bent on the destruction of our country. Now, under normal circumstances, I would laugh my ass off about this. But I see an American parallel in here. Did you hear that down in Bolivia, which is a country in South America, in Bolivia, military factions decided to rebel, stormed the presidential palace to toss out, depose Louis Arc, who is a socialist. But then they left. They backed off. They had it, and then they gave it up. Well, the military coup and its leaders have now been arrested. And I thought, that could never happen in America. And then I thought, holy shit, man. What if Trump wins? Trump is inaugurated. Are there enough Obama, Biden, communist holdouts in the Pentagon? Are they crazy enough to put together a coup to physically arrest and remove Trump under some concocted belief system of theirs? Banana? Meet banana at the Republic, right? The United States is not that far behind little weird-ass countries like Bolivia. What's that say about the entire planet at this point if politicians have taken everything down to this level? Look in Canada. Canada, in Parliament, they're getting their Prime Minister, Justin Turdhole. They are calling him every dirty name in the book that a Canadian can call, right? Within the narrow band of Canadian frustration and anger. They are Canadians, after all. Very nice and polite. But they are so sick and tired of this little cretin ruining everything. And Europe is ruining itself. Every European nation is ruining itself by inviting in these third world scumbags. Yeah, banana, meet banana. But what do you think? Some people say, John, you're a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, no, I'm predicting and reporting the news 6 months to 1 year early. That's all. But what do you think? Is it possible that they may not win the election and Trump is going to be declared the winner because Biden is such an awful candidate? And if they get rid of him, right, who are they going to put in there? Gavin Wavin Newsom? Gruesome Newsom? No. I mean, he's Adam Carolla is Adam Carolla, folks. Mr. Eyebrows himself, leaving California. He's like, I've had it. I'm going to my son's graduations, their high school graduations, in a moving van, and we're leaving right after. Right? Nope, not him. How about Michelle Obama? Right? Does she have the balls to run against Trump? Well, I think she's got the balls, but I don't think she's going to run against Trump. That was a good one, man. That was a good one right there. Hillary? But I think that if they lose, there could be a coup in America. Now, there was a coup with JFK. That was a coup d'etat. CIA did it, period. They had help. They had assistance, all that, sure. Let's see. Teddy Roosevelt, he was shot. FDR, I believe, was actually murdered. There were several attempts on FDR, as well as a coup attempted by I think it was Harriman and other bankers. They were actually Nazi fascists in New York that were supporting Hitler. There was a coup against Teddy Roosevelt. They shot, of course, Lincoln right in the head. And they tried to kill Andrew Jackson a number of times with different assassins and attempts. And he just fucked everyone up. In any event, it's a mess, folks. It is a mess. Now, and I don't put cheating past the Democrats. Why? They have everything to lose and everything to gain from cheating. Now, where has Biden been in preparation for the last week? Well, he's been hiding up at Camp David. Who and what? Why are they having to hide him in Camp David? Right? There's no statements. There's no reports. There's no photos, no videos, nor even like a Bigfoot sighting of Biden, right? What are they doing to him up there? Why can't they do that at the White House? Are they exchanging one fake Biden for another? Are they having the most recent Biden, I don't know, clone, duplicate, stand-in, wannabe, imposter? Are they getting him trained up on the current Biden face expressions? I mean, is Biden going to go into the debate wearing mirrored sunglasses? Is he going to be cool? Is he going to try being funny? And can he make it 90 fucking minutes? I don't think so. These are just questions I have. Questions I have. I mean, I love it. I expect a ton of interference. You know what else I expect? I'm expecting some radical freaks to have broken into the CNN studio and try and pull a stunt. In fact, let me ask you this. On a what are the odds? 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 that at CNN there's going to be an assassination attempt on Trump. Gun, bomb, attacking him with a knife or a sword. Because all of these leftists, folks, are absolute lunatics. Lunatics. They're absolute lunatics. Now, there's another fun fact I saw. That was that in, I think, somewhere between 1956 and 1960, President Eisenhower, deported nearly all illegals out of the country with a very, very small, shall we call them a policing force, right? An immigration and customs enforcement force. It should not be difficult to spot them. It will be difficult to catch them, right? And then detain them, make sure they're not American. If they don't speak and sound like me or you, they're not American. Pretty crazy, folks. I expect a lot of interference. So, hey, bring your popcorn. It's going to be one hell of a shit show. In fact, they're continuing to break all of the rules and the laws. Even dumbass, curly fry-haired secretary of the press, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, the little black lesbian un-American. She has been now, she's under suspicion for violating the Hatch Act because she has openly campaigned for Biden. She has criticized Trump during an interview. But don't worry, she will never be prosecuted. She will never resign. The mainstream media will not report this, her Hatch Act violations, which is campaign interference. And I actually predict that her campaign interference is going to grow. She should be deported as well. I think that would be a fine idea, right? And get this. You guys remember Adam Klitstinger, Kunsinger, whatever the hell his name is, from, Illinois. He is a Trump hater, a never Trumper. He is a Rhino, but he's also a former congressman. He has now endorsed Joe Biden for president. He isn't just a little bit of a Rhino. He is an all-the-way Rhino. In fact, after the 2016 election, when we had a bunch of congressmen and senators say they're never Trumpers, that was right there. They should have been kicked out of the fucking party. They should have been kicked out of the party. You will support the president if he is a member of your political party. You may not like him, but you'll shut your fucking mouth and do your job and protect the country and obey your oath and live up to, right, what the Constitution expects. Anyways, the dipshit clit stinker has decided that he's going to vote for Biden, endorse Biden. He says that Biden will, quote, always protect democracy. Democracy. Folks, democracy, we've been told, is everyone voting. Everyone voting. And if it's more than 50%, 50.1%, or 51% if you wish, we have to do exactly what those people want because it's a democracy and majority rules. Well, the thing they're calling democracy isn't. Democracy to these people in power is the elites voting on how to own everything and how to control everything and how to dominate everything and how to subjugate the people. When they say democracy, they don't mean democracy for us. They mean democracy for them, voting to divide everything up. Crazy. I want to remind everyone that Judge Lina Hidalgo, absolute moron, is blaming Trump for the dead, raped, murdered, and kidnapped women. That's right. Trump is to blame. Now, what kind of time I got? I got 10 minutes before we get to your guys' questions, so get them in down below. Now, there's this weird drug that's out on the street. I've seen lots of videos as I've toured electronically the blue voting districts from cities. I don't know how these people are supposed to vote. They are so whacked out on drugs. But there's one type of drug addict. They will stand on their feet, but bend over at the waist as if they're asleep. Or they'll sit in a chair and bend over asleep. They need to be on their feet, but asleep. I'm starting to think of this as a zombie drug. So it is a zombie drug alert. The drug that they're taking that makes them want to be on their feet, but they'll just bend over. Head all the way down, bend over, but somehow they don't lose their balance. Somehow they can stand there, literally bent over. It's called nitazine. And it's basically the next wave of fentanyl type delirium that people want to be on. And oh, by the way, it's from China. Nitazine, right, causes people to bend over and practically fall asleep on their feet. They enter a zombie-like trance. They don't know really where they are, who they are, anything else. I've seen other pictures of people having what appears to be epileptic seizures or other types of fits when they're on this shit. Number one, these zombies cannot vote. Number two, I think, can they be triggered? Can they be given a second drug that wakes them up and makes them violent? You see, it's awful. And I'm being sincere. It's awful that these people are taking drugs. What are they escaping from that they think this drug is going to give to them? I can't understand that for the life of me. I love a good drink, a glass of wine. I love a good scotch, as you guys know. A good handcrafted beer just is delicious, right? And yes, you get some relaxation from the alcohol, right? It just relaxes everything. Well, if you're relaxed so far out of your fucking mind, right, that you're asleep on your feet, that you wake up and you don't know where you are, that you forget everything about who you are, that your teeth fall out of your head, that you become skeletonized, right? You look like Skeletor, just everything's sunken in your eyes. How is that positive, right? I have a nice scotch and shit, I feel great. I feel refreshed, right? My liver, great shape. Last time I had my liver checked, they said, hey, you got a great liver, Mr. John. I said, great. I'm going to keep doing what I do then. Anyway, zombie drug alert, folks. Makes me wonder. Have you thought about this? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Now, speaking of drugs that I take, the deplorable, cafefe.com, the Food and Drug Administration has warned that canned coffee, over 300 canned coffee brands, have potentially botulism in them, right? A fatal poison. We're now going to see coffee prices go through the fucking roof. My recommendation, get a lot of coffee. Get it now. Because they have now officially fucked up coffee. Ooh, man, this is a conspiracy on their part to take coffee from us. Chickens, burning up chickens and egg farms and trying to kill cattle just in case they might get bird flu. You know, we need to shut down pork processing plants. But now they've crossed the fucking line. They're going after my coffee. Thank God these guys, the deplorable people, right? Thank God their coffee is safe. It doesn't come in a can, right? They're always trying to give it to us in the can. Anyways, folks, a little cafefe ad, but at the same time, yeah, you better be careful with what you're drinking and eating. There's another thing. It's called Apeel, A-P-E-E-L, and it's a chemical that's toxic that they're spraying on vegetables and fruits that is a Bill Gates creation. It cannot be washed off. They're coming after our food, folks. You're going to eat the bugs, and you'll like it. That's what they say, folks. They truly want to make us eat the bugs. And let's see. What have I got time-wise? I've got time. Let's do it. Let's get into this. Let us have some fun and take a wild guess. Well. Looks like the Jim Jones juice is back up on the board. Well, a professional bodybuilder, age 36, is dead. Totally dead. Age 36, had a pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary means lungs. So apparently super athletes in the world of bodybuilding have their lungs explode. That's just really messed up. Now, I do understand that a lot of bodybuilders take performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, and they're not good for you. They're not. I know it. Everyone who's been around the world of powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilding, etc., we all know it. Not the smartest thing to do, especially if you're a professional, but she was only 36 years old, right? And if you want to wonder, well, it's really it's common, John. It's not that common. Arnold Schwarzenegger, screw your freedoms. That guy, he's in his, 70s now? I'm sure Arnold took a few steroids, right? Pawing at the ground. Yeah, he's taken a few steroids, and he's still around in his 70s. So a 36-year-old woman, and women typically live longer than men, I'm not buying it so much. Looks to me like it could be another case of fatal Pfizer. Oh, shit. I just came up with a new one. Fatal Pfizer. Where's Mr. T? We need some new intro outros for the Pfizer files for take a wild guess. Fatal Pfizer syndrome. Okay, very good. And I still have time. It's crazy. It really is crazy. The Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS, aka Scrotus. Remember when they were gonna have the decision on Roe v. Wade, and it was leaked. That's right. Someone in the Supreme Court leaked the decision. Absolutely off the charts, unethical, and even illegal. Well, it's happened again. And it's also happening again under another abortion case. What a coincidence, right? The Supreme Court claims they have inadvertently posted an opinion about the Idaho abortion law, and then they removed it. It's pretty obvious. Who would leak this? Do you think that the office of Clarence Thomas or Justice Alito, do you think they're going to leak information? How about Amy Coney Barrett or Justice Kavanaugh? I don't think they would leak it because it doesn't serve them. It doesn't suit them. But fat ass Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson Brown, whatever the hell her name is, right? She was the one that came in, and hey, lo and behold, we get leaks. I don't think of any of these Democrats in there as ethical. They're completely unethical, and they're, I think, lawless. So I think the intent here is to provoke violence, right? The crime is obvious. The only negative consequence that they could hope for is violence. Piss off all of their radical people. Interesting, though, the timing. I love coincidences. The timing is, well, just in time for tonight's debate. Just in time for tonight's debate. How about that? Crazy, folks. Crazy. We got World War III on the brink. They're now going to send American mercenary teams over there to Ukraine. Why don't we just privatize the military altogether and let corporations handle it? Because we can trust corporations, right? I don't think so. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Now I want to know what's on your mind. Let's do it right now. Kapow. All righty, let's have some fun with what you guys want to discuss. And Mr. Uman, I'm sure you've got something to say out there. Let's get into it. What is on your mind today as the world turns and it's splattering in the oscillating device? Okay, Uman says, want to round up all the illegals? Yes, I do. Tell me more. He says, take a page out of Grady Judd's book and get your free gift cards at such and such a place on such and such a date. They will come to you. I remember when this trick was first done. I think it was back in the early 90s in California. This is when I first heard about it. I don't know who first started it. Essentially, they were sending to dangerous criminals, sending to their homes a letter stating they won a prize at like a rent-a-center or an errands, right? Some store. They were told, you won a prize, come on down and pick it up. And they'd walk through the door around the corner and lo and behold, cops everywhere. I love it. I love it. They ought to be told exactly that. Now, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You need a very large facility like a Walmart, maybe one that's been closed down in big cities. Grady Judd is pretty close to Orlando. But you need a big facility like a Walmart or a Target or a Ask Kohl's or a Dick's Sporting Goods, some big building, and send it out to everybody. Hey, if you're an illegal alien, right, you get your gift card today. We're going to give out another $10,000 EBT card. Show up on such and such a date. Now, the reason I say you got to have a big place, this is my thinking, is if people show up to a small little building and there's a line 100 people long and they're looking around and nobody's coming out, they're going to be suspicious. And you won't catch that many. They'll figure that shit out, right? Because it's not like we're trying to capture the most dangerous criminals. We're trying to get rid of the volume of illegals, and amongst them are very dangerous ones, of course. But you need to lead them all in, and then you need to have a place where you just like get in the cage, 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 and have a place to house them, store them, put them in buses, march them out the back end of buses. You've got to keep the people out front from getting suspicious. So how do you handle the parking? Where are you going to put all the cars? You need, like I said, a very large store with a very large parking lot to do this. And I think it could be very successful, Mr. Uman, very successful. Yes, Walmarts are already super secret FEMA camps. So that could work. And then, of course, the garden section is like a big outdoor cage. That would work. But yeah, you got to get all the merchandise out of there. Got to get that merchandise out, and you can only do it once, just once, because once you do it, right? All of the Aloha snack bar people will tell each other, "Aloha, aloha, aloha snack bar. Don't go there," right? And then you tell all the Central and South Americans and illegal Mexicans, they're going to talk to each other too. They're like, no comprendo, don't go, no comprendo, right? You get all the Chinese immigrants, and I don't even know how to even begin to say that, right? You no go. Right? So you got one day, one chance. After that, won't happen again. They'll really be hiding. But I think that's good. We've got to start somewhere, man. Got to start somewhere. May as well start it off with a bang. Go big or go home. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Good stuff. And yes, those Walmarts are FEMA camps. You just don't know it yet. They got one set of double doors going in that they can block off. You can put in those spiral gates that only spin one way. You go in there thinking you're going to get your good deal, and you're now in prison because you're a Republican. And they probably have a meat grinder in the floor that goes down to a sewer pipe that was laid before the building was built. And they'll just pump you out like sludge into the sewer system. So, you know, they'll just kill everyone. That's a conspiracy theory, by the way. It's all conspiracy, no facts, nothing. It goes out into those plastic coffin liners that go on the trains with all of the military vehicles. All right, I had to say all that stuff because I knew Uman would get what I'm talking about. I'm sure you do too. We've been told for years and years those plastic, whatever they are coffins. We've been told that all the tanks on trains are going to be used against us. All of those empty train cars actually have shackles in them. I don't think it's going to play out like that, folks. The government isn't that smart. They're not that creative. I think they would just go around shooting and killing people. That's how I think they would do it. It's just faster and easier that way. It worked for the Chinese. It worked for the Russians. It worked for the Nazis. They get a tractor. They open a big ditch. They put you on the edge of it. They shoot you in the back of the fucking head, and in you go. They don't play games with concentration camps when it's time to get rid of us. They'll just fucking kill us. All right. I think I made that clear. Name Redacted steps in. He's like, John, shut up. Let's get to my story. He says, I saw an interesting example of predictive programming yesterday. It was on an X-Files from the 90s showing graphene, nanoparticles, self-assembling, and clots. Yes, this kind of thinking has been around for a while. Is it predictive programming? I don't know. What did they program me with? They actually gave me useful information to understand how this shit works. Like Morgellons disease. These people that are getting these weird looking like fiber optic things that come out of their skin, and they're like wiry, barbed, weird shit. Once again, it scared the hell out of me to learn that stuff is possible. But I think that kind of stuff is good to know about, to understand what they're capable of. And a show like the X-Files, for what it's worth, woke a lot of people up to the unusual, the odd, the strange. It started making people think about the unusual, the odd, and the strange. And science fiction has always been useful in that way. And it's also caused scientists to realize, hey, they don't have to be, stuck inside a box. Evil never gets stuck inside a box, so why should we, right? Why should you and I? Right? If evil says, let's, like Dr. Fauci, let's take a bunch of beagles and let's strap them down and put their head in a netted area and put a bunch of awful insects in there so it starts laying, let's torture some dogs, see what that gets us. That's Dr. Fauci, right? That's the National Institutes of Health. That's the Centers for Disease Control, right? The U.S. government said, let's go to a city in Mississippi and let's get all of the black people there. And let's do some experiments on them with syphilis and other diseases. And so the government, the U.S. Washington, D.C. government, did just that because evil knows no limits. And that's why I'm like, okay, if they're willing to kill their presidents, right? If they're willing to blow up buildings, if they're willing to lie to us at every turn, if they're willing to experiment medically on people in the 70s with swine flu, back in Tuskegee, and doing biological disease experiments on black people, hey, right? Why should we doubt any evil that could come from a regime that says, let's lock down the world? Let's coerce and force people to take the Jim Jones juice. Let's threaten the shit out of them. Let's do that. That's a great idea. Fine. Let's use the power of government to murder people, to fuck things up because, well, we're the government and we can do whatever the hell we want. Yeah. When an empire fails, folks, they know no morality. And I want to thank Mr. Skylight for sending me that message. Government knows no morality. They know no limitations. They know nothing about justice when they fail. Empires fail and they go right to shit. They attack themselves, they attack each other, they rob, cheat, and steal, and they become also sexual perverts. Because those are the people, folks, most twisted up here. Prove me wrong. Anybody, I dare you. Anyways, that X-Files thing, yeah, nanoparticles. We'll get this. Back when I was in high school, 1988, folks, before I went into boot camp, a couple of my friends, Pat and Mike, brothers. Pat was my good friend in high school. We used to go dirt bike riding and drinking beer. Anyways, Pat and Mike were talking. I did not partake in the dubage, but Pat and Mike did. And we're just sitting there on the hood of his 64 T-Bird. And I've got lots of 64 T-Bird stories. Sitting there on the T-Bird talking about nanobots that were being talked about at that point. They were in Omni magazine. And they would go in and they could perform. They could be programmed to go into your body and perform to do beneficial, positive surgery. Healing disease, fixing problems, nanobots. This is 1988. I was just a kid. So yeah, so that, and then the 90s with X-Files, and then we get a little further, and now we're back to, let's do experiments on humans and see how it fucking turns out. Yeah. Now, Heidi Ho checks in and says, Dean Koontz, who is an author of many books, a very famous author at that, has a whole series of books built on self-assembled nanotechnology. So I did not know that he wrote those types of books as well. I think he was part of the kind of the spy genre, post Tom Clancy and Robert Ludlum, I think was another one. You know, they got big into this stuff. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because it's believable because we see evidence of it. And it's incredible to me that someone like Dr. Fauci is allowed to walk the streets of America after everything he's done. Where's Congress? They call him into Congress and he shows up all the time. Why don't they have him show up to Congress and just arrest his little ass and throw him in a Walmart nanobot FEMA camp shredding machine? Because I'm pretty sure he's earned it. Now, that is not calling for violence. That is not trying to say anything dangerous. That was satire, folks. But I would definitely pay good popcorn money to watch that. All right. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah. A lot of folks, it's not just science fiction. It's just how far along are they and what are they willing to tell us? What are they willing to tell us? They're still lying to us about the moon landings. They're still lying to us about the Van Allen radiation belts. They're still lying to us about the nature of the universe. So why wouldn't they lie to us about everything else, especially the power and technology that the government has? Let us move on, if we shall, before I get into Julian Assange land. And we have Chin Music. He's back. Pride Month public service announcement. Always be true. Always be your true, authentic self. Unless you want people to actually like you. Always be your true, authentic self. Unless you want people to actually like you. I don't know. I've been trying to study these idiots. It's not going well. Chin Music continues. Says, John, what if they get the dosage wrong for Joe Biden tonight? And we end up with the cackling passage of time, yellow school bus slut at the helm. Oh, good God, man. What a great name is that? The cackling yellow school bus slut at the helm. I would love to see that. because they would be like, Lucy, you have some splaining to do. That would be Desi Arnaz on the Lucille Ball show. He was Cuban meek. Anyways, yes. If she came out to speak, they would have to say, what are you doing here? What the hell's going on? Why is she here? We would need an explanation. Did Biden keel over? Did they keel him with too many drugs? Right? Did he pass out? Is he in incomprehensible state? Has he been 25th Amendmented? I think that would be great. The cackling hoe, known as camel toe. She can't read, folks. She cannot read a prepared statement without turning it into a fucking word salad. I mean, people with dyslexia are embarrassed that there's any mention of her with dyslexia, because I don't think she has dyslexia. I think she's just actually retarded. I think she actually is. And I would love to see her come out and try and debate Trump. I think Trump would roar with laughter. Like, what are you doing here, you hoe? Right? Step right up. I'm going to take every shot at you he could. That'd be great. He could ask her about, all of her knee time. Some people get me time. She has knee time. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Just wow. All right. What if? Man, I'll tell you what, Chin, we're going to find out what if. What if there's a bomb on stage? What if they're willing to kill both Biden and Trump with that? What if a gunman comes in and kills both? By the way, supposedly the Secret Service, the U.S. Secret Service that provides protection for presidents and vice presidents, as well as former presidents. And of course, do you recall? Democrats everywhere said, oh, Trump's been convicted of a felony. He should lose all of his Secret Service detail. They want him exposed, folks. They want him dead. In fact, I really see that as their best chance. I don't know why they haven't killed Trump. I mean, let's face it, they can't beat him in a debate. Joe Biden can't. He won't. He's going to fail miserably. I'm going to fucking love it. I'm going to love it. It is going to be a shit show watching him come apart at the seams. Kamala Harris can't even speak to herself. Gavin Newsom, no. Michelle Obama, no. Hillary Clinton, I would love to see Hillary step out there in one of her fine, look at this dress made out of fabric that I stole off of my couch. Right? She looks like she's wearing fucking muumuus made out of, lazy boy fabric. I think I hate Hillary. I think so. Anyways, they can't beat him. But if they killed him, who would they have to replace him with? Who could the Republican Party replace him with? Vivek Ramaswamy? Oh, shit, that's another topic. Or Governor DeSantis? I mean, they could. But if I were Governor DeSantis, I'd be like, these guys are willing to kill people. And they should be. They have been in the past. They killed JFK. They shot Ronald Reagan. If that wasn't a fucking hit by the Bush family, I don't know what is. Anyways, let us continue. They could kill Trump. They could. We'll get back to that here in a bit. Name redacted says Big Orange needs to shut up and let JoJo implode. Oh, definitely. Let's go Brandon. Joe Biden, let him talk all he wants. He can make his stupid racist comments. He could make ridiculous claims about places he'd been to school and jobs he's had and people he's saved. He'll probably come out and say, I was on Apollo 36. I went to the moon. Right? He could, all kinds of shit. Name redacted continues, says, Mr. Orange just needs to make one statement. If you're tired of this, and point at Biden, vote for me. If you're tired of that, vote for me. You can go with this, or you can have more of that. You know, you can turn it into a cool song and shit. He can start doing one of his Trump dances that makes everyone laugh because white men can't dance. Anyways, good stuff. But yeah, I see an opportunity here. They need to kill Trump. There's no one that can replace him. There's only one Donald J. Trump, folks. And if they killed him, their problems would go away. They didn't end up with new problems, but all their Trump problems would go away. We're going to find out. And maybe they're sending Joe out there tonight to completely melt down and have a heart attack, fall over, to get sympathy for whoever his replacement is. Because that's about all they've got left is the sympathy vote. All right. I mean, what else? We got all kinds of stuff covered. What else you guys want to talk about tonight? It's going to get crazy. Crazy, I tell you. Chin Music says, Dacted, his mic will be muted. I think that will end up being a plus. Well, they're saying they're going to have that mute power, right? A button there. Now, they're showing two buttons in the little picture of the moderator's control panel. It's got two little buttons and then a microphone for them to talk into. Funny how there's no fucking button to mute the fucking moderators. Anyways, I think that's good. And they might do that. They might mute him and then, let Joe keep talking. And I really hope that's part of the plan. I seriously hope that part of Trump's plan is to let Biden make an absolute fool of himself. Maybe he'll get into one of his angry fits where he starts screaming. Folks, what can Trump do to set him off? Right? Here we go. Trigger time, Chin. Trigger time, Uman. Everybody, trigger time. What can Trump say to trigger Joe Biden into making a complete asshat out of himself, bigger than he normally is? Well, number one, bring up Hunter. Bring up the fact that Hunter Biden is a drug addict who smokes crack, who weighs out drugs, who hangs out with hookers, underage girls. Oh, yeah. Taking money from China, taking money from the mayor of Moscow's wife, taking money from Ukraine, Burisma. He ought to go after Hunter. He ought to make a fucking comment about that laptop. Well, hey, I heard the laptop wasn't real during the last election. I guess this time during this election, it is real. And what else is on the menu that could just drive Biden nuts? Call him a criminal. And just let Biden go off on Trump and call him all kinds of names too. Call Biden a criminal. Trigger the hell out of him. Say he's got a crime family, because he does. He ought to ask Biden, why is it that your family has over 250 bank accounts? 250 bank accounts. I thought you were a senator, then a vice president. What could you possibly need all those accounts for? How about asking Biden directly, hey, Biden, why don't you tell us about taking a shower with your daughter? Don't you think that's a little creepy? Hey, Biden, you sniffing any kids lately? Trump could go after him. All these things that could trigger him. He could ask them about Pride Month and what Biden is doing to the White House with all their fruit salad felching that's going on there. Right? This whole month of recognition bullshit. And then after that, now we need to have Pride Month at the White House. He could go. I think what's going to excite voters on our side, on the side that wants to get rid of Biden, is going to be vicious attacks and watching Biden melt down and go off. I think that will drive Trump support upwards. Now, back in 2016, he went after Jeb Bush. He went after everybody, and it was great. I loved it. It was great. And those are Republicans in name only. And he put them down, and he argued the hell out of it. He fought, and he won. Everyone thought Trump was a fucking joke in 2016. He stomped everyone's livers out and then went on to beat Hillary, who cheated, and cheated mightily. She cheated her cankles off but she still lost. That's why they had to cheat so big in 2020. And I think I'm starting to believe more that in 2020, that the pandemic had something to do with the election. Had something to do with it. In any event, who is going to be Trump's vice president? I still say Ben Carson is probably the best pick. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is kind of a snake oil salesman. He's just a little too smooth, a little too slick, and a little too, well, I don't like smooth and slick politicians. I just don't. And so there's another one. He's a white guy. He's a governor of some state. I don't think he's going to be the guy. He just looks too white. Sorry, right? In today's diversity, equity, and inclusive environment, 2 white guys is not going to be good, right? He's got to have a woman or a minority in there. And I think that's why Ben Carson and Vivek Ramaswamy are there. Does Ben Carson have the experience needed? I think he may. Does Vivek Ramaswamy have the experience needed? I think he may. My problem is, how trustworthy are they? Once again, we come down to this question of trust. We thought that Mike Pence, as vice president to Trump, was trustworthy because he has a highly religious background. He's very churchy. Well, it turns out he attends the Church of Satan, and he's a sack of shit sellout POS. So he was not trustworthy. Jeff Sessions went in as the attorney general. Everyone was like, yes, Jeff Sessions. Even I was like, hey, I think he's a good guy. And then turns out, snake in the grass. Well, Vivek comes off as a snake even before getting the office. I mean, he could be the greatest vice president of all time. Right? He could be the Andrew Johnson of Trump era. Maybe you all will get the joke. And he could be. But we'll find out. I think it's going to be Ben Carson. What do you guys think? man, in the comments section on your side. In fact, I would like to invite you to share the screen, amigo. If you got it, I don't know if you got someone else in the studio there. All right.
My son's roaming around here somewhere, so.
Mark Robinson, he would be, I like him. I think he's a good candidate. I think he's got some good experience. He's certainly a brave man who speaks his mind and speaks very conservative. I like Mark Robinson. I don't think he's going to be picked, though. I would be happy to see Mark Robinson there, though. What else have we got? Man, who's your pick?
There's still Tulsi Gabbard being tossed around out there, but that would be a horrible choice.
That's a horrifying thing. As much as she's got some dignity and respect for America, she's still a fucking socialist and an anti-gunner at that.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are projecting it's going to be a woman because that would play up to the suburban housewives vote and all that
you think
stuff.
So?
I don't know. I think I would not mind seeing Ben Carson. I think he's a good guy. I think he's got some good morals, and I think he would probably be the best guy that I've heard tossed around.
Okay. The suburban housewives that are a problem are the liberals. The liberal suburban housewives will not vote for any Republican on Trump's ticket.
And it doesn't matter who he picks as his vice president. They're not going to vote for him regardless. So, I mean, you can't go after that demographic. It's a waste of time. That
demographic, the suburban housewife is middle income, upper middle income. And while inflation is affecting them, it's not hurting them. Right? It's not hurting them. A lot of people are hurt by it, but those suburban housewife liberal bitches, those Karens, those HOA hoes, they don't care.
No.
They're going to vote Biden, and they're going to hate Trump because they've been told to hate Trump and to vote for Biden.
How much of an impact do you think Kennedy is going to have?
Kennedy. RFK Jr.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to have a negative impact on the Biden vote. There's so many people in the Democrat Party who don't like Biden at all. But what's their option? They can't. They fucking hate Trump and they don't like Biden, so they'll vote for RFK. Now, Trump wanted RFK to be in the debate. Biden did not. Trump wanted a live audience. Biden did not. All of these things. The drug test. Trump wanted the drug test. Biden, no way. He didn't want the drug test. Right?
Yeah. Trump wants to stand. Biden does not.
Right.
I think it'll be very telling to see what kind of shape Biden is in after the end of the 90 minutes. If he's still going strong and stuff like that, that would maybe convince me a little bit more about the whole clone situation you threw out there earlier.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. The imposter, or what do you call someone? Imposter.
Yeah, an imposter.
Right?
I mean,
they can have an imposter.
I hadn't thought about it until you said it, but it was very interesting about the why would he take a week off, and is it training, letting somebody work with him to get his mannerisms and everything down? It's like, oh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, I had not thought about that or heard that from anybody else. So I mean,
it's because that's a pure John idea right there. That whoever they've got is a lookalike. Because there's been a lot of people pointing out that the ears, the teeth, the smile, the eyes, the chin, all this stuff, right? It's like, okay, I understand duplicates, right? Like Saddam Hussein had a bunch of I'm not using the correct word here.
Body doubles or
Body
whatever.
double, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Saddam had them for security reasons.
Yep.
Not for mental health issue reasons.
Yep. When they had to drag Hillary off to the Scooby-Doo van when she passed out on 9/11 several years ago, I think it was 2015, right? Yeah. They literally drug her off and threw her in the fucking van. Her shoe fell off in the gutter, right? Then a couple hours later, she comes on out of the hotel, and there's a little girl that runs up to her, and she was like 4 inches shorter than she should have been, and how do you pass out and then a couple hours later you're just fine? What is stupid. In any event,
lots of strangeness.
They can't have body doubles. Hell, we could have Jeff Dunham up there with Walter the puppet, and he would put on one hell of a show, right? That may as well be, right? That old guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy into all these videos where these guys go, oh, look, in this video his eyes are black, and here you can see the line on his neck, and I could write some of that off to, okay, maybe it's a lighting thing, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but when you watch some of these videos and the guy doesn't blink for like the entire interview, it's kind of strange.
Well, that's drugs.
Yeah,
that's fucking drugs. We see that a lot, but these are the things that are a potential, and because the world is so strange, Mr. Uman, that's why I can't rule it out. A body double spending a week with Biden to get his voice down, his mannerisms down. It's like, okay, listen, Mr. Fake Biden, you're not allowed to walk around. You got to do the old man shuffle now. This is it's possible.
Yeah. Anything's possible. How likely it is, who knows? Tonight, I think if there is that scenario in play, tonight would probably be the biggest probability of that playing out.
Now, because there's one more
world stage, and everybody's watching.
Right. This week, the CIA has come out and admitted and claimed that they have incredible masks that are so lifelike and real you can't tell. Now, if they're going to do a mask, they won't end it here. They won't end it at the base of the neck. It would go all the way down.
No, it goes under your shirt. Yeah.
Right. So here's what I'm going to say. Look at Biden's hands. Look at Biden's hands.
Look at the age and everything else. Yeah.
Look at his fucking hands. He should have hands of an 82-year-old man. He shouldn't have hands that are plump and full like these. They should be bonier and thinner because he's becoming a frail old man. Just interesting stuff there. But trying to get the voice down to him. Oh, impersonator, body double impersonator. Holy shit. He's got to impersonate his voice. So whoever this person is has to be up on all the politics. Has to have political policy that's Biden's down to a T. He's got to have the arguments against Trump, and he's got to sound and act like Biden. That would take a whole week to get. They may have been prepping this guy and everything else, but that would explain it.
If we see and if we see that energy level and everything else like the Obama era Biden, I mean, that's going to be very suspect because, I mean, how many videos have we seen just in the last couple of weeks when he was over in Europe and everything else where he's like barely shuffling along and everything else. And he comes walking out on stage all spry and everything else. That's going to be extremely suspect and odd.
Right. And one last thing, we've gone long, but one last thing from the 2016 debates, Trump looked at Hillary and said, "That woman over there." He did everything but call it out with that's not really her. That's an imposter.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. Uh-oh.
We got a Garrett. We're still live.
We got Garrett. What's up there, brother? You're live, by the way. The whole world is watching you.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yep.
Hi there.
Hey, world, what's happening? All right, I'm going to call it quits, though. We're long. We're good. Hey, Garrett, good seeing you, man.
You as well.
Hey.
Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
It favors the prepared mind. It's going to be a shit show.